Hi. I guess this is how I became a mushroom. The last time I talked to you was around 6 months ago. Since that, a lot has changed, especially the scenery. But I think I'm taking things slower and I'm walking steadily on the path in some way. City life was nice, but it was just so much. And studying film, it was nice, but I guess not what I was looking for. I believe that in Barcelona I could have found everything that I would have been looking for, but I wasn't ready to find it yet. And that's okay. So I moved away. And I went to another meditation course around 5 months ago. And I knew that if I was gonna go back to that meditation, I was gonna commit to it. I was gonna take it seriously. Because the last time I did the course, I slipped back into many old habits and patterns, which is totally fine because we are the cycle. We are just turning round and round, and I think that this is what my brain is trying to grasp as well. That idea of trying to stop while not trying to stop and going around anyway, not being able to stop if we're trying to stop. Because just the wish to stop is helping the motor keep turning, if that makes any sense. Regardless, if there is even decided that I wanted to dedicate my life to a bit more than to just inspire. I was gonna help. Just like the fungi help the trees and the trees help fungi. I wanted to become part of the system, but not the broken system, not society. I just wanted to give back, and that's what I still feel so much today. Practicing metta meditation of love, just brought so much love to me without me expecting anything, and it just makes me want to give more. So I decided I'm gonna study medicine, which is also an interesting path, because nobody needs to study medicine to help. You can help in so many different ways, but that's just one way that potentially feels right to me. Making videos and movies in the future is definitely not gonna stop because of something else. Passion remains passion, but career doesn't need to be passion. Career just needs to be fulfilling. Career may have a purpose. And when I talk of career, I don't even mean something like to move forward into, to become more, to become better. I'm just saying to dedicate myself to something worth doing. So that's enough about the past, and that's enough about the future. What is now? I'm living in Switzerland. Looks like it. I've been living here for a month and a half in the mountains, and I work with a purpose in a restaurant where I bring alcohol and meat to the tables of people. That's the way it is. If people choose suffering, I cannot stop them from harming themselves, I guess. I can just smile with compassion and understand that they are on a different path and that nothing is right or wrong. But I do work in a restaurant, and every day is such a wonderful experience, such a beautiful thing to experience itself, because you get to have so many different situations in which I just get to learn. You know, I used to think that I needed to surround myself with people that were better than me so that I could learn from them, so that I could become better. But I found now that surrounding yourself with all the people is, for me, the best way, because it's not just the good and it's not just the bad, it's everything that's there always. And I used to think that life was about, you know, appreciating the beautiful, but now I see that it's more about accepting what is. And that's what I'm learning now. Every situation with coworkers, every situation with guests, whether I get to make somebody laugh or whether somebody's angry at me, I'm trying to observe it and I'm trying to smile. And I'm not trying to smile forcefully, but just trying to smile at the moment itself. So yeah, I work in a restaurant. And the reason I moved here, I think, was of course to make some money, but also just to get away from everything. I've cut out a lot of my contacts, which is not because I don't value them, but just because I choose to live in the here and now. For the first time in 6 weeks, I've gone on a hike, which is very sad because this is the first time I get to really appreciate this, which is because I was really busy studying and getting some other stuff done. I bought a van. Hey Ben, like 10 years ago, you can be proud now. You can be happy. You can be at peace. Yes, it is finally coming true. Not the dream of Instagram van life or the dream of making a nice video about how I build a van and then travel in it, but just that thought of being independent and being free and on the road and just choosing where I can go. I think I've always had a little problem with, I guess, paying rent, which sounds weird, but this is just another step in one direction. I focus a lot on clarity, even though that doesn't always work. I tend to react a lot still, but my reactions are getting shorter. Rather that be that I hit myself and for a second I switch into, I think it's my left part of the brain, the primitive one. And after a second or two I'm like, whoa, everything's okay. I'm just gonna observe the pain. Or whether it's a situation that makes me particularly angry, particularly unhappy, particularly happy. For a second, maybe for 5 seconds, even for 10 minutes, I stay in that emotion, I stay in that reaction, and then I notice, there's no need to react anymore. I can just act. And my actions have also become just a bit more clear, with just a bit more awareness. When a guest is angry at me, I don't shout back to push back what they give me, but I set a line. I say, hey, to myself, I say, hey, it's totally fine, but I'm not gonna take your emotion. I'm not gonna take your reaction. I'm here, I'm within myself, and then I'm gonna act out of compassion. That obviously doesn't work all the time, but it works sometimes, and that's the point. I'm walking on the path. I know that I'm nowhere near the goal, nowhere near anything, but I am walking steadily. You know, I tried celibacy. I tried not having sex. That was interesting. I would say it didn't really work. which just shows how much I am in those patterns of reaction and patterns of, yeah, just behavior, which are normal because this is also the experience that we are experiencing. I guess I'm just in the process of becoming aware of what I am experiencing. There's a lot of philosophy to what I'm saying, but what I haven't mentioned yet, because it's also not that important, is that I don't believe that much in philosophy at all. I think that everything comes from real experience. I can philosophize about being angry, not being angry, but in the moment when I am angry or not, I am. And that's what I have to experience. So I meditate usually 2 hours a day, which sounds like a lot, which sounds like a little. It matters of the perspective. Recently, because of my work hours, it's been down to usually 1 hour a day. And that's also okay, because I keep my commitment and I try to keep my awareness. But the most important thing to me is that it's not out of ego, that I'm not doing it to tell somebody else. I'm just doing it because it's right. My art is also becoming different. Can I even call it art? I don't know. But what I do know is that I'm thinking differently and I'm changing. A year ago I hadn't thought that this change would be possible. I hadn't even known that this change existed, but it's now changing. So with love and from far away or near, I hug you. May you be happy. Thank you.